Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack the biggest topics and bring you the most fascinating insights. Today, we're diving into a figure who truly captures global attention, like few others. Elon Musk. He's been called a genius, a disruptor, even the real-life Iron Man. His presence alone just seems to bend reality sometimes.
It really does. His influence is just immense. I mean, consider this. With a net worth that reportedly hit, what, $447 billion by 2024, he's not just the world's wealthiest individual. He's amassed more wealth than pretty much any historical figure.
Right.
And we've all seen it, haven't we? How a single tweet from him can send entire markets into a spin. Remember Dogecoin?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's astonishing. But here's the real puzzle for me. You have this man with over $440 billion, 12 children, someone who could, like, theoretically buy a small country. Yet he apparently lives in this tiny 375 square foot house. And he's publicly said, I'm not sure I want to be me. How do you even begin to square those things, these huge contradictions with this undeniable drive he has?
Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're going to try and peel back these layers. Is he a genius? Well, a psycho. Or maybe just a really complex mix of both. We're going to unpack his journey, his personality, his ambition, try and understand what really makes Elon Musk tick. And it all starts, interestingly, a long way from Silicon Valley.
Okay, let's start right at the beginning then. His childhood. Elon Reeve Musk, born June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa. His family background sounds like quite a mix: considerable wealth, but also deep dysfunction.
Definitely. His father, Errol, was an electromechanical engineer, a property developer, even had partial ownership in emerald mines. His mother, May, a model and dietitian. So wealthy, yes, but also marked by some significant trauma.
Yeah, the parents' divorce when he was only 9 seems key. He chose to live with his father.
Right, a choice he later called a mistake. He described his father as, and this is a quote, a dreadful human being. So really difficult home life. And it sounds like his father pushed this hyper-competitive South African boy mentality onto him. Some people think that intense upbringing might be part of what fuels Elon's relentless drive today.
And you see these, like, intellectual gifts showing up super early. He was this voracious reader, supposedly read every book in the Durban library.
That's the story, yeah. And at 10, taught himself computer programming from a manual.
A VIC-20 manual. Then by 12, he'd made and sold his first video game, Blastar, for around $500.
Shows that early technical skill, but also the business side, right?
Exactly. And he had this weird accuracy even as a kid. Like age 10 or 11, correcting his sister about the moon's distance. He knew it was 239,000 miles, not 10 million.
And there's that anecdote about his determination, too. Age 5, gets grounded.
Oh, yeah.
And reportedly walks 2 hours alone to his cousin's birthday party just from remembering the car route.
Wow. At 5.
Yeah. Apparently, his mom never punished him that way again. It's not just being defiant, it's like an early glimpse of this relentless, almost obsessive drive.
That determination definitely carried through. His education path was, well, kind of unique too. South African school, then Queen's University in Canada.
And then UPenn, right, dual degrees in physics and economics.
Yeah. And apparently he chose Queen's over a top engineering school because he said there didn't seem to be any girls at the other one.
Ah, okay. But what's really interesting is the Stanford thing. Enrolled for a PhD in applied physics for 2 days.
2 days.
Then dropped out. Saw the internet boom happening and just jumped in.
And that challenging childhood clearly left its mark. Bullied at school, once beaten unconscious, lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, that sounds brutal. And it likely contributed to maybe some social awkwardness, potentially Asperger's, which he's mentioned.
Yeah.
And imagine your own dad calling you a loser when you're 17 and heading off to Canada to try and make it.
God, yeah. And he struggled financially at first, right? Working at a lumber mill.
For $18 an hour, yeah. But that fascination with machines was always there. Toy rockets, explosives.
Mixing brake oil and chlorine.
Okay.
Yeah, a bit wild. But also, like, deep hands-on knowledge, taking apart engines, modifying gearboxes with his brother. That curiosity, that willingness to get dirty definitely shaped what came next.
Which brings us neatly to the internet pioneer era.
Yeah.
Zip2, 1995 with his brother Kimball. Internet city guides for newspapers.
And he was coding through the night, apparently. Classic Musk work ethic already showing.
They sold Zip2 to Compaq for $307 million in '99.
Yeah.
Musk got $22 million out of that. Seed money.
Exactly. Seed money for the next big idea. X.com, one of the first federally insured online banks. Ambitious stuff back then.
It merged with Confinity, Peter Thiel's company.
Which eventually became PayPal.
Right. And then eBay buys PayPal in 2002 for $1.5 billion.
Right.
Musk, the largest shareholder, walks away with about $175.8 million.
So a huge win. But what he did next, that's just mind-blowing.
This is the crazy part to me. He took basically all of it, nearly $180 million.
Pretty much every cent. And sunk it into three incredibly risky ventures. $100 million into SpaceX, $70 million into Tesla, and $10 million into SolarCity. Just wow.
Yeah.
What drives that kind of all-or-nothing bet?
It's pure conviction in the vision, I think.
Yeah.
SpaceX, founded in 2002. The goal wasn't just rockets, it was making life multi-planetary, reducing space transport costs drastically. That $100 million was a massive leap of faith.
Into what most people thought was science fiction.
Absolutely. And this Mars obsession, it started way back. A book he read when he was 10 even planned this Mars Oasis thing, sending a greenhouse just to get the government interested.
But before building, he tried buying rockets in Russia.
Yeah, those trips in 2001, 2002, trying to buy old ICBMs. It's a famous story now. The Russians apparently laughed at him, kept hiking the price.
$8 million to $18 million, then $21 million.
Something like that. And he just walked out, stormed out. That says a lot, doesn't it?
It does. And then on the flight back, he decides, fine, I'll build my own damn rockets.
Exactly. Pulls out a spreadsheet right there on the plane and starts crunching the numbers. This is where his first principles thinking really comes into play.
Okay, explain that a bit more. How is it different? Because it seems key to everything he does.
Right. So most companies use what you'd call analogy. They look at existing products and tweak them. It works, but you inherit old problems, old costs. First principles means breaking a problem down to its absolute fundamental truths. What are the raw materials? What do they actually cost? And build up from there. Question everything.
Got it. Like that turbo pump example. Materials cost $10, but suppliers charge $200.
Exactly. A 20x markup. He called it the idiot index. Or NASA paying $1,500 for a latch.
And he used a $30 bathroom latch?
Basically, yeah. A 49x cost saving. Switching from expensive carbon fiber to cheap stainless steel for Starship. Huge savings. Focusing on making like 70% of parts in-house. Valves, actuators, domes. Collaborating with Tom Mueller, the rocket engine guru, to build the Merlin engine from scratch. It was totally different.
But even with that kind of thinking, it wasn't easy. SpaceX nearly died, didn't it? Those early years sound like a total nightmare.
Oh, it was incredibly close, nail-biting stuff. The first 3 Falcon 1 launches all failed. March 2006, crashed after 41 seconds. Fuel leak.
Ouch.
2007, didn't reach orbit. Stage separation problems. 2008, another failure. Timing error. Stages collided. By late 2008, he was basically out of money. For SpaceX and Tesla, which was also struggling, he talked about having to choose which child to save.
God, imagine that pressure. Choosing between SpaceX and Tesla.
Unbelievable weight on his shoulders.
What kept him going? What kept the team going through all that failure?
Just sheer will, I think, his resolve. He reportedly told the team, I will never give up, and I mean never, inspiring them to, pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off. It was that defiance against the odds.
And that defiance paid off. September 28, 2008, middle of the global financial meltdown, the 4th Falcon 1 launch. Last chance.
Everyone holding their breath.
And then, 9 minutes, 31 seconds later, orbit.
Boom. First private company to do it with a liquid-fueled rocket. The relief must have been immense.
And the impact was instant, right?
Right.
NASA contract saved them.
Absolutely. Within months, that $1.6 billion NASA contract to resupply the ISS came through. It saved SpaceX. Total vindication.
And today, you really see the results of that strategy. SpaceX has these, superpowers now.
Totally. Those cost-cutting measures, reusability, in-house manufacturing, recovering fairings, led to insanely lower launch costs. Falcon 9 at $2,720 per kilo versus the Space Shuttle's $54,500. It's no contest. That's why they get billions from NASA.
And they launch constantly. 100 rockets in 2023. That's incredible frequency.
Dominating the market like 60% of commercial launches. Plus, the innovation speed. Look at Crew Dragon compared to the competition. It's just leagues ahead.
So while reaching for the stars, he was also trying to revolutionize things down here on Earth. Tesla.
Right. His involvement started earlier, 2004, with a $6.35 million investment. Became chairman, largest shareholder.
Took over as CEO late 2008, right in that crisis period again.
Yeah, tough time to step in. But under him, Tesla went from this niche sports car thing, the Roadster,
The 2008 Roadster, yeah.
to mass market cars, Model S, X3, Y. And now the very unique Cybertruck. The big vision there is accelerating the shift to sustainable energy. His Master Plan 3 talks about sustainable energy for the whole planet, Needs like $10 trillion investment, he reckons.
But Tesla had its near-death experiences too, just like SpaceX. October 2008, only $9 million left.
Saved on Christmas Eve, apparently, by a last-minute $40 million funding round Elon scraped together himself.
And then production hell with the Model 3 in 2018. Burning cash, only making 800 cars a week when they promised 5,000. Sounds like chaos.
It was chaos. And that's when he was sleeping on the factory floor.
Right, in a sleeping bag to suffer more than his staff.
Yeah, is that extreme dedication again, leading from the absolute front.
But they pulled through. First profit in 2013, global expansion. And now the big focus is full self-driving, FSD. He sees that as key to the future value, right? Robo-taxes and all that.
Definitely. He believes FSD is where the real long-term value lies. And you can see his personal passion for cars in the details, demanding specific things like bigger doors, wider seats, impacting R&D costs, but getting what he envisioned.
So beyond cars and rockets, his ambition just keeps expanding. Neuralink, brain-computer interfaces.
Yep. Co-founded in 2016. Helping humans keep up with AI, treating neurological issues. They got FDA approval for human trials in May 2023. The long game is merging humans and AI, maybe even helping paralyzed people walk again. Huge goals.
Then the boring company. Tunnels under cities to fix traffic.
Started in 2017. They actually have a working loop under the Las Vegas Convention Center now.
Proof of concept, I guess.
Yeah.
And then X, the Twitter saga.
Ah, yes. The $44 billion acquisition in 2022, rebranding to X. His vision is this everything app, social, payments, communication.
But hugely controversial. Content moderation changes, paid check marks, mass layoffs.
Big time.
Yeah.
Lots of criticism about increased hate speech, misinformation, allegations. He tweaks the algorithm to boost his own stuff, enforces rules selectively. It's definitely shaken things up, not always in ways people like.
And don't forget Optimus, the Tesla bot. He thinks that humanoid robot will be worth more than the car business eventually.
That's what he says. More than cars, more than FSD. Shows where he thinks robotics is heading.
So how does one person manage all this? What's his leadership style actually like? It seems intense.
It's a mix. Definitely transformational, inspiring people with these huge visions like Mars, but also autocratic for quick decisions, yet sometimes democratic, seeking team input.
And his principles seem pretty clear. Small, elite, technical teams, tough hiring, lean operations, high standards, and quick to fire underperformers.
Absolutely. And the work ethic is just legendary. 100-hour went for years now, maybe down to 85. But he also says it's important to like who you work with. And he does encourage taking risks, accepting failure as part of innovation. It's a demanding environment, but maybe not purely brutal.
Depends who you ask, I guess. Because the controversies keep coming. His relationship with regulators, like the SEC.
Yeah, that's been really rocky. Started way back with that 2018 funding secured tweet. $20 million fine, lost to the Tesla chairman role, and it continues. The SEC lawsuit in 2025 over delaying his Twitter stock disclosure. He seems to actively fight oversight.
And his politics have shifted dramatically, too, from supporting Democrats to backing Trump big time in 2024.
Reportedly $277 million donation, largest individual donor, and that brief, controversial stint tapped for a role in a potential second Trump administration before a public falling out in May 2025.
Plus all the social media stuff. Promoting conspiracy theories, COVID misinformation, inflammatory remarks.
Yeah, accusations of anti-Semitism. That gesture at the 2025 inauguration that caused a huge backlash. Again, we're just reporting what sources claim, not endorsing, but his public statements often cause massive stirs.
And the interpersonal conflicts are pretty well documented, too. Firing his PR chief over credit for the Roadster.
The feud with Zuckerberg, the cage fight challenge.
Right, and stories of harsh treatment of employees threatening top engineers, firing someone right before a launch.
Even that reported physical fight with his brother Kimball back at Zip2, ending with stitches. And his public attacks on figures like George Soros. It paints a picture of someone who doesn't shy away from conflict, to put it mildly.
So with all that, this complex, driven, controversial figure, what's the ultimate vision? What's driving all of this underneath?
Fundamentally, it seems to boil down to what he calls the preservation of consciousness. He genuinely believes humanity must become multi-planetary to survive long-term. It's not just about survival, though. It's about striving for a brighter and more inspiring future, solving the big existential problem.
Which leads directly to Mars, establishing a self-sustaining city of 1 million people by 2050.
That's the goal. He sees it as life insurance for humanity, protection against something catastrophic happening here on Earth, even the sun expanding eventually. The timeline is aggressive. Uncrewed landings by 2026 maybe, humans by 2030, all using Starship.
And when you look at it that way, all the companies kind of fit together under these themes of freedom, don't they?
Exactly. Freedom from Earth via Starship. Freedom from fossil fuels via Tesla. Freedom from traffic via Boring Company. Freedom from biological limits via Neuralink. Freedom of speech, in his view, via X. It's all connected in his grand plan.
So we come back to that first question, genius, psycho, or just incredibly complex.
I think complex blend is probably the safest answer. The impact is undeniable across so many industries: space, cars, AI, social media. It's driven by this obsessive dedication, this willingness to take risks that almost nobody else would.
But there's always that tension, isn't there, between the visionary leader pushing humanity forward and the controversial public figure, the sometimes harsh manager. He pushes boundaries in every sense. He's a walking contradiction, which is probably why we're still talking about him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And maybe the provocative thought to leave you with is this. Given his track record of achieving the impossible, will he actually pull off this multi-planetary future? Or will the controversies, the conflicts, ultimately overshadow the vision and define his legacy?
It's a huge question. We hope this deep dive gave you a better handle on this truly influential and often baffling figure.
To keep exploring the complex world around us, make sure you subscribe to Pocket Podcasts for more deep dives.